Welcome, everybody, to the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast, where we explore the exciting world of artificial intelligence and its impact on marketing. Every week, we feature in-depth conversations with industry leaders, technology experts, and marketing professionals. Our guests share their insights and experiences on how AI is transforming marketing and providing businesses with a competitive edge, keeping you up to date on the latest trends and best practices in AI-powered marketing. Now, whether you're new to the world of AI or an experienced professional, the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast is the perfect place to learn about the latest advancements and how they can be applied to your business. Join us each week and let's explore the intersection of AI and marketing together. My name is Matthew Maniak, your co-host here with Tony Aponte, the other co-host of the podcast. How's it going this morning, Tony?
Good. How you doing, Matthew?
Doing good, doing good. As a buddy of mine says, blessed and highly favored.
There you go.
So we've got some really, really exciting things for you guys today. And it's actually going to be delving into a topic that I think, unless you're a web developer that is kind of in the cutting edge of things, that it's something that a lot of people really aren't considering or not looking at yet as far as the implementation of AI goes, and that is cybersecurity, specifically today for web development. And so, essentially, with every great technological advancement, there are loads and loads of benefits that we can explore and have and opportunities that come about from it. But on the flip side, that usually opens the door for new threats to come out and new ethical conversations and ethical dilemmas that need to be considered. And it's actually kind of funny the timing of this episode if we look at the movie release of Oppenheimer coming out actually the same week that this was recorded. Just the parallel there is kind of interesting. But again, for today's episode, delving into cybersecurity, Tony, what has kind of been something that you've been seeing as far as the new threat of cybersecurity and how AI is playing into that?
Well, when it comes to cybersecurity and web development, it's when it comes to web development, it's all about code. And whenever you are delving into writing code for websites, anything like that, it opens up the ability to inject any kind of malware, any kind of malcoding, whether it's to gain access to the back end on the website to where either you're getting access to, especially for example, e-commerce, getting access to credit card information, data information, customers, where you can on the back end send out bad messages, emails, whatever. And so it's I don't think, based on a lot of the research that I've done and some of the conversations that we see a lot here recently, it's still in its infancy. However, it does raise a brow, and it's putting cybersecurity leaders alert because it is a viable threat. And so now it's time for cybersecurity experts to really jump in there and see exactly how to use ChatGPT to stay ahead of these attackers, because it's definitely coming as technology gets better. The ability, the ability to hack increases.
Right. Yeah. And we're seeing that ChatGPT and these large language models actually know how to code, right? Like we can ask it to give us a JavaScript code for XYZ. And I mean, granted, there are those content filters and moderations that have been installed on ChatGPT specifically to help mitigate that kind of use case for it. But I mean, as you and I know, we've been delving down the rabbit hole long enough. It's just in how you phrase it. Like you can still get the outputs of malicious intent if you prompt it the right way. And I think just like you said, right? It's um, being able to consider that this is a very real threat and very real development that is occurring, and so it's something that web developers and cybersecurity experts are going to need to be able to plan for.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how things go. I know that there's already tools out there to be able to identify different malware attacks, and the ability for phishing. It was just recent, or actually not recently, back in 2021, the FBI released a report, Internet Crime Report, how phishing is still the number one threat for cybersecurity here in the United States. And so this is an area that a lot of the hackers are using ChatGPT to really elevate their hacking game because of its ability to write perfect English emails. Because really, that's where phishing is, right? It's emails, and so usually you can identify them because either the subject line has some funky words, or you can identify the email because it's got bad grammar, or there's just funny words that are being used in throughout the email. But now with ChatGPT and its ability to create perfect English content, this is an area that is on the rise right now, and the alert is there. So that's just one area that we just need to be doing our due diligence and being able to identify these areas. Um, you know, uh, when it comes to cybersecurity, just something that I want our audience to make sure that they understand is that we're not cybersecurity experts, but because we are in AI as frequent as we are, we're we're able to see a lot of the stuff that's out there right now, as far as a lot of the concerns, a lot of the conversations, and we're going to be looking to bring in some cybersecurity experts that we can get in and to really delve into this, because this is going to be a long ongoing conversation. Don't you think, Matthew?
Absolutely, right. It's like when computer viruses and malware started to hit the web, and things like that. Well, web developers, cybersecurity professionals, business owners in general had to start to learn how to accommodate and strategize against those threats. And this is something that we need to be considerate of in relation to AI. And I mean, again, for those of you that know and have been watching us in doing the podcast, you know that we're big proponents of AI. But just like we said at the start of this episode, with great opportunity comes great responsibility. Not to quote Spider-Man verbatim, but the same kind of concept applies here, right? Is we're being granted access to a technology that has not been seen in the history of mankind. And now we are also, as part of that, seeing the emergence of new threats that need to be accounted for in order to continue to run optimally and run successfully. Because if we kind of just ignore or omit these oncoming threats that are coming and are here in many ways, then it's not going to be a pretty picture for the small business owner or even the large corporate firm or really any organization. Like even the White House Department of Defense needs to be aware, and I'm sure they are uh, staying on top of the threat posed by AI phishing, AI hacking, and AI powered malware.
Yeah, and before ChatGPT, made its debut back in November, AI and its threats was never really at people's top of mind as far as the public, right? Because, and although we've been using AI for a little bit now with through Siri and Alexa, it just really wasn't there. But now that the elephant is out of the room, it's now it's something that you cannot ignore. So it's definitely something that is going to be at top of mind, with a lot of things going on right there. The way Chat GPT is developing, and then you got Google Bard and all these other AI tools. It's definitely taking the forefront as far as conversation wise, and being aware of what's going on.
Absolutely, and kind of speaking to that same point of being aware. I mean, I know you and I have been discussing this and kind of keeping an eye on this, but we had seen a report recently too that there's been a increase in apps on the different markets, Google Play, iTunes, things like that, that are compromised. And I know that you've kind of delved more into it than I have. So Tell us a little bit about kind of what you've been seeing and about the information that was contained in that report.
Yeah, so there right now there was a research that was stating that now there's about over 50 apps that have been found on Google Play uh, and iTunes, Apple, that have the ChatGPT icon, and those are an attempt to uh, again to get access, hack your phones or whatever, your Android devices, and so it's really important that we, as end users, educate ourselves and are to where we're able to identify these threats, right? Because at the end of the day, these are little mini computers. You can see it. Yeah, mini computers. Yeah, there you go. And so, we need to make sure that we're aware of what we're downloading on our phones, on our tablets, computers, all those things that we use on a daily basis. Because our smartphones, I don't know about you guys, but I got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of contact information on my phone, and the last thing I want is anyone to hack my phone and get access to any of that, right? So we just have to do our due diligence, not brush it off as something that you're not going to have to worry about because it is there, and I'm sure the average person probably has at least 30 apps on their phone. So
Right. And I mean, kind of along similar lines, we've mentioned in the past, right, that ChatGPT, AI, these tools, it's the great equalizer, right? In the sense of the little guy now has access to the same kind of tools and capacity in a very real sense that the bigger guy usually had or once had a monopoly over. And while while that has predominantly what we've been speaking about applied to marketing, applied to internal workflow optimization, things like that, it also applies doubly to those individuals and criminal organizations that uh, seek malicious intent. And so now you can say, all right, ChatGPT, assess this code for gaps, assess this code for uh, loopholes, gateways that we can, you know, say you can even tell it that hey, we're trying to optimize the code, find gaps in the code, and then you
right.
don't use it for optimizing it. You're using it for finding the back end in to hack data and get information, which obviously is not the ethical way or right way to be doing things and going about things. But it is a very real sense of what's out there that people that once might not have been able to code or not have wanted to take the time to learn how to code can now implement code because of these tools. And similarly, it's not far out from being able to say, all right, we're going to have ChatGPT leverage malicious code against XYZ, or using ChatGPT just like I said as kind of a screener to identify gaps in the system,
Mhm.
and then leverage those gaps for criminal intent.
Yeah. Yeah, to kind of add to that, the it kind of goes back to what we've been talking about in the past in all our podcasts is about ChatGPT's ability to take certain tasks and either automate them or make things a little bit more efficient. And this relates right back to cybersecurity leaders, right? Now, the cybersecurity experts are able to hand off a lot of the mundane tasks that they don't want to be doing and hand them off to junior cybersecurity guys and let them use ChatGPT to be able to get these things, certain things done because they're able to use ChatGPT to enhance the output. And so but what it's doing is just cutting the learning curve for the junior guys and lets the experts focus more on building better and more robust cybersecurity products and services to be able to address any threat issues that come along. It's just like you said a few just earlier. It's the great equalizer, right? So you got the great equalizer on both sides. You got the hackers that are using it to uh, look for ways to be able to attack a lot more efficiently and looking for more vulnerabilities. And then you got the cybersecurity experts that are using ChatGPT to combat these guys, right? So it's definitely the good versus the bad scenario, and so it's definitely going to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in some ways, we're heading towards the Star Wars world, right? Where you have
Right.
R2D2 hacking against like the dark R2D2, and they're having this little hacker bot thing, this fight or whatever through the net on the Death Star or whatever. But it's like the same kind of concept, right? Is you've got good Chat GPT, then you got criminal GPT kind of working
Yeah.
against each other. But you know, like what would you say? I mean, obviously, again, people we're not cybersecurity experts ourselves, but we've been exposed to this technology very frequently and very regularly, and we kind of have seen a lot of what it's capable of. So for you, Tony, kind of tell us what's kind of something that our viewers should know or be aware of to um, not fall victim to these new emerging cybersecurity threats posed by AI.
Well, I mean, it still goes back to knowing what you're using, right? And looking, just being aware of your emails. And I'm only speaking to what uh, uh, I know, and because I do a lot of email marketing. Email is like one of the biggest areas for phishing. So, and I used Google Workspace, and so Gmail does a very good job of routing all that crap email to spam folder. However, not all platforms do that, right? So keep vigilant on checking your emails. Make sure that you don't open up any emails that are suspicious. And again, like I said earlier, because ChatGPT now is provides the scammers out there the ability to provide perfect English, you're going to have to be a little bit more aware of your emails that are coming in because the threat is there, right? And so, just at the end of the day, you just have to be aware of what you're opening up, what you're clicking on, and just don't anything that looks suspicious, just you know do not open it. That would be really my first advice. I'm sure, and it's not new, right? So it's something that we're always whenever we see it, we get online, we're always hearing, be careful of what you're opening up. You hear of, if you're on Facebook, I'm sure you've seen Facebook friends. Oh, my Facebook account got hacked. Now I'm in Facebook jail, right? You see it all the time. So it's out there. Don't ignore it, and just do your due diligence.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't accept candy from strangers.
That's
Um,
right.
now, I kind of want to take this and move the conversation towards also like what we're seeing as far as different implementations of the technology, maybe that aren't I say commercially viable just yet, like in the sense of we look at ChatGPT 4, right? Being able to now recognize photos and provide instructions based on the prompt and the photo provided, like in the GPT-4 announcement video, they had shown a clip where the AI was able to identify a photo of like it was like milk, sugar, eggs, and something else, right? And then it was like, tell us what we can make out of this, and it was like a cake, right? So we're seeing, the technology is evolving already very quickly. The the capacity is also improving in the sense of the inputs and outputs that GPT-4 can process. Now, I mean, I feel it's only a matter of time now before the developments of reCAPTCHA, which is essentially for those of you that aren't familiar, whenever you're going to do like a e-commerce checkout or setting up a new account or doing a login, there'll be a little thing, that little circle icon, swirly icon that says reCAPTCHA, and then when you click on it, you have to prove you're human by selecting a couple blocks of something that shows like a sidewalk or a stop sign or a motorcycle. And essentially, what that's done in the past is help to authenticate the user, one, as a human, but two, also prevent like malware attacks and things like that from robotic accounts. But now, with the advent of GPT-4 in this new capacity to now understand imagery, I mean, I'm not sure what you think, Tony, but I feel like it's only a matter of time now until we need to really consider a complete reassessment of the reCAPTCHA model, because
Yeah.
GPT-4 is going to be able to select, all right, we've got all the sidewalks here, and then it's able to bypass as a human in that sense.
Yeah, you're probably they're probably gonna have to go from imagery to maybe some sort of animated type of captcha, right? That's going to create a new uh, icon or something, right? Every single time that it's on there, it's never going to be repeatable. But it's definitely something to to think about, because again, it all goes right back to the ability to bypass those little gates that that we have to add that little bit of layer of protection.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's again, it is an exciting time as far
Yeah,
as the opportunities that we are, you know, being able to now take advantage of from a technological standpoint.
yeah,
But at the same time, again, as we've been kind of talking about throughout this episode, but also something that we try to be prevalent about throughout all of our content is being aware of both sides, right?
hmm,
There are two sides to every coin, and both sides are not always pretty.
right,
And it's just a matter of being able to be aware and be conscious of what is out there. Just like when the internet came about, you have people that use it for good, and you have people that use it for not so good.
yeah,
And we've evolved as end users in ways that has allowed us to navigate this space of the internet and of emerging technologies in a way that doesn't compromise us in most cases. And I forget what the stat was, but I think it was like what within the scope of their lifetime, every business owner uh, will experience some form of a cyber attack in some way. And
yeah,
so obviously the intensity and the um, severity of those attacks can vary. You've got some that are, I mean, going to be major leagues for major firms, and then you've got some that are probably just going to be a little phishing thing for the local small business restaurant, right? But at the same time, it still is a threat, and it's only going to get more prominent with the advent of AI and as these people that are hackers and that are developing these malicious softwares and viruses. Uh, as we continue to learn how to use them for good and ethical ways, there's going to be someone else that's going to learn how to use it for malicious intent. And just like we said, it's a matter of being conscious, it's a matter of being aware, and it's a matter of learning how to navigate this space in a more educated manner and being armed for the threat that is out there.
yep, yep. I agree 100%.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I think that we got a lot of good stuff covered on this one. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in for this week's episode of the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, especially after today's episode of things that you guys want to hear about us cover. So feel free to send us a message at ASM Podcast on Instagram or shoot us an email at podcast@artificiallysmartmarketing.com. Thanks so much, and we'll see you guys next week.